Don't stress, live life one day at a time. Don't drink or drug and you'll be fine.
Welcome back. Today I want to talk a little bit about some of the comments that I've seen on this platform and other platforms when people have been talking about the death of Matthew Perry. Now, my last video, I shared my feelings on what happened to him, and again, it's tragic, it's a shame, but a lot of people were getting into the comments about was it a disease? Is it a disease? Did he have a choice of what was going on in his life, or he didn't? And the interesting part was there were a lot of people that said that they abused alcohol for years, they abused drugs for years, and then they stopped. And they didn't buy into the disease concept. Some of them even went to AA, where they push it pretty heavy. And I can't say all the treatment centers do, because I never went to a treatment center, talked with a few people that have been in it. So I don't know how many push that disease concept. I do know a lot of them use some form of the 12 steps. But again, I'm not going to say anything against any particular support mechanism if I don't know anything about it. But I do know a lot of people push the disease concept, which is sad. I think that hurts more people than it helps. And it's good, at least I think it is, refreshing, I should say, when I read posts from people who just say, hey man, I screwed up. I continually put alcohol in me. I continually put drugs in me. Finally, I smartened up and I stopped. And I stayed stopped. And it wasn't easy at first, but I got through it. And now I've got, 6 months sober, a year sober, 5 years sober, 10 years sober, because, that's all you can do, one day at a time. And you just don't think about it. You just go on living your life as a person who no longer, drinks alcohol or abuses drugs. Again, I've always said, make it as easy as you can for yourself, but it starts here. You want to feel good about the decision you make, not, drinking or using. A couple of the discussions Matthew had with some of the people it kind of pointed out why I think he, was struggling as much as he did. And during one of his conversations, he told the gentleman that, and I think he mixes his words up though, he said, I'm an addict, so therefore, when I put a drink in me, I want more. I think what he meant to say, of course, I was an alcoholic, even though he's an addict. He said he is. And, when he puts a drink in him, he wants more. And that's because he's allergic. He's got an allergy. He's allergic to alcohol, and his body has an allergic reaction to it. He wants more. Well, if you think about it, now that's AA talk right there. If you think about it, if you have an allergic reaction to a particular food, let's say, you eat shellfish or whatever, and you break out in a body, rash. Are you going to keep going back to eating fish? Chances are no, unless I guess you like the way you look with, all broken out, right? Chances are you won't. People who have peanut allergies, they stay the hell away from peanuts and anything that has peanuts in it, because that could actually kill them, right? So they avoid it. They run from it, like most people do from anything that they're allergic to. If you have hay fever or whatever, you're not going to go into a open field, during hay, or when all the pollen's out there, and walk around sniffing everything, for your, to get all screwed up with your allergies. You're going to stay away from that stuff. We're to believe that a person who is allergic to alcohol goes after that and keeps drinking it, even though they're allergic to it. Just doesn't make sense. It never did to me. It never will. It's a choice we make. I know I drank I think many people did because of the effect that the alcohol gave me. I liked the buzz. I drank for the buzz. I wanted to, if I wasn't feeling good, if I was down and out about certain things, I know alcohol would, make me feel a lot better for a short period of time, of course. And if I was out partying, alcohol would really make me feel a lot better, right? So I chose to drink because I knew what it would do to me. Think about it. When we were younger, even maybe when you're older, but I know when I was younger and I was drinking, we used to say to our buddies, "Hey man, we're gonna do this weekend. Well, I'm gonna go out and get trashed, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna go out tonight and I'm gonna get trashed. I'm gonna get effed up. I'm gonna get loaded. I'm gonna get blasted." So we went out and did just that. We went to a bar or wherever, where the booze was, and we got trashed. We decided this is what we're going to do with, the alcohol. Now, I never did drugs, but I'm sure it's the same thing. People are going to go, they're going to do some coke, they're going to do whatever they're doing, to get to that the high that they wanted. So we go after what we want, and we know how it's going to make us feel. But there comes a time when, certain things happen when we overindulge in anything, be it alcohol, drugs, food, sex, gambling, whatever, that gets out of control. And what do we have to do? We have to stop. Now, it's interesting. If you drink too much, it's a disease. Too much drugs, it's a disease. Sex, disease. You gamble, that's a disease too. The list goes on. Smoking, disease. List goes on and on and on and on. So basically, it's a disease. A person has a disease when they when they make the wrong choice over and over and over again. In school, I hated doing homework when I was in grammar school, even high school. But in grammar school, I hated doing homework. Never did it. So I would always get into trouble. Constantly get into trouble with my parents. Teachers calling, Joey's not doing his homework, and my report card comes. It shows I wasn't doing my homework. For some reason, I just didn't like doing the homework. My mind was always wandering in class, but whatever. I just didn't do my homework. I made the choice time and time again not to do the homework, and I got the repercussions for not doing my homework. But a funny thing is when I did do my homework, when I decided, all right, I'm going to do my homework and study a little, basically read what they wanted me to read, teachers were okay, I got good, decent grades, and my parents were happy. But I went back to the easy way of, I didn't like doing homework, so I didn't do it. So my question is, did I have a disease? Homeworkitis or something like that. Homeworkism. I have a disease called homeworkism. And that's why I didn't do my homework. I mean, at some point in our lives, people have to take responsibility for their actions and their behaviors. And unfortunately, we're seeing more and more people want to go with the excuses of why they were drinking or drugging instead of going for the answer, which is don't drink or drug, right? What do I always say? Don't drink or use no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what. And that's the only way you get sober and stay sober. You don't put alcohol in you, you don't put drugs in you, you're going to be okay. Chances are you're going to go through some issues in your life. It may trigger, you to think about maybe picking up a drink or a drug. But if you start saying all the time you don't drink or use no matter what means no matter what, no excuses. I'm not a person who drinks or drugs anymore. That's not who I am. I handle my situations differently, meaning, I might have to talk to somebody. I might have to, white knuckle it, and I might have to do whatever you have to do, but you just do it. I mean, there's millions of people that do that on a daily basis. We're no different because at one time in our life, we drank or used. again, I always say you got to be careful what you're listening to, and a little bit of common sense truly goes a long, long way. It really does. And I never really listened to too many people early on in my sobriety, when they would say, hey, I was in and out of AA for 10, 15 years. I was in and out of rehab, I didn't want to talk to those people. I mean, I did, but they just showed me that they never understood why they shouldn't put drugs or alcohol in them. Because what else do I always say? The only story that's going to keep you sober is your story. Because the only story that keeps me sober is my story. So once I understood that I shouldn't put alcohol in me, because when I do, things happen. And I've proven to myself time and time and time again that if I have too much alcohol in me or any alcohol, then my behavior gets a little crazy, and then I get a little crazy, and who knows what happens. So I finally figured it out that I just don't put alcohol in me. And all the time I went to AA and all the discussions they had in the rooms and everything, they were fun to listen to. Did they help me? I can't say it didn't because I went, but what it did was it made me realize even more that I'm responsible for myself. And I knew, again, I'll repeat it, if I put alcohol in me, there's chances that something could go wrong. So I don't. So I knew that. But with all the steps they wanted you to do and everything, I can't say if it's going to help you or not. Nothing wrong with doing them. But I know people who did it and they drank again. So the only thing I know that works is, again, don't drink or use no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what. So I'm going to end the podcast now. This one was just like an off-the-cuff podcast after reading a bunch of people's posts on different videos and stuff. It just started triggering my mind a little, thinking, it's cool that some people are actually getting it. Some people actually realize themselves that it was a choice. They didn't blame anybody. Whatever happened in their life happened. And you can't go back and fix the past. You just got to deal with the future. Quit ruining the little time we have here on, this earth to, abuse ourselves because we're putting alcohol or drugs in us. And also we're hurting other people. So until the next time, thanks for, stopping by.
Think about your serenity. Be grateful for your sobriety. Staying sober with Papa Joey.